It's Wellness Wednesdays. It's Wellness Wednesdays. And I was originally going to do some Has-Been Hotel content this Wellness Wednesday, but I talked for 40 minutes on Monday, on Manly Monday, and I still wasn't done because it's a big topic. So I want to talk about how to express feelings, because this is one of these things that a lot of people, not just men, but a lot of people get wrong. Now, men are socialized to not express vulnerable emotions like sadness, like fear, right? Women are punished for ever seeming angry. And so a lot of women can't admit to themselves that they're angry, and they blow up their lives with bullshit. And so everyone can do better with this. And everybody slips. This is not a question of being perfect. This is a question of being accountable and really putting in the effort to, when you're talking about your feelings, really talk about your feelings, not accusations, which feel safer, but will not get you the outcomes that talking about your feelings does. So if you're at the end of this video and you're like, kind of get it, I'm still totally confused with what to start, join our community, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K. I was gonna update the Patreon video, but ran out of time this weekend. It was a wild one. Or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone can use it but can't afford it, coffee.com/Leanna K, or sign up for a Leanna Care session yourself. Link in the description box below. This is a busy week, but we got some openings next week. Yeah, really, I love my clients. My clients are awesome. They put in the work. And that's the thing. Expressing your feelings accurately and effectively is very scary at first. It's a lot easier to take overwhelming emotions and throw them away from yourself. Well, yeah, they did this and they did this and that, and this TV show is attacking me, and saying a bunch of things that are, categorically ridiculous for any neutral observer. And we all do this sometimes. I am not saying I'm perfect this way. We all get emotionally compromised, get overwhelmed, and project. But we can be aware and gradually do it less. And it's good to practice on safer emotions, but in some places there's no safe emotion, because even if you express that, you care about someone can twist that. I know that. And so one is finding an environment that actually supports this practice. That's part of the reason we started the Discord. And it was really rough at first because there was this culture of fear that we were going to throw people out for next to nothing. And eventually, the longtime members learned that, no, we're actually pretty slow to ban people. People are told exactly what they did, and they have a chance to correct it. If they fight with the mods instead of just correcting it, they're gone. But we give people a lot of chances. We'll debate, we'll argue, we'll tell people where they went wrong. But we don't believe in just banning to reduce work for us as moderators. We believe in investing in people and showing people a different way. And part of that is so people can feel like they can express feelings. They can go into the mental health channel and go, I'm struggling, but they can also go into the WINS channel and talk about the great thing that happened to them or the accomplishment they had and have people support them. And the reason we separate the two channels is sometimes when you're really down, you don't want to see how great somebody else's life is. It's awful to admit, but it's true. So we create a structure where expressing our emotions accurately and in an adult way is rewarded. And that's the first thing. If you were raised in an environment where you were picked on for having feelings, then this probably seems like an alien planet to you. I get it. If you came from a family like that, you probably have some issues expressing feelings as well. I, with a lot of my clients in the early days, have to ask them, did you feel this? Did you feel that? Because they don't, they know the words, but being able to attach them to their actual emotions, it takes some baby steps, and that's totally fair. So if I say the word, they can tell me yes or no. That's how they felt. Whereas to just come up with the word themselves, it's not there. And so we're actually training recognizing feelings. And I'm glad when they tell me, no, that's not it, because it means they're being honest with me. They're just not agreeing with what I'm saying. Because one of the things you have to watch in a peer counseling relationship is it's not as likely that someone is trying to just tell you what you want to hear, but it is still possible. So, again, environment matters. I didn't have an environment that was supportive when I started making this change. I was an asshole regarding this. I talk about being an asshole a lot. People don't agree with me. No, I'm an asshole. And that's why I'm very careful to say when something hurts, to say when I'm pissed off. Because if I say when I am pissed off, then people can't go, you're angry, you just don't admit it. It's amazing how many things people project onto me. But because I do say when I'm angry, I do say when I'm sad, I do say, I am aware of my emotional state. Not always, but I am conscious of, okay, how am I feeling right now? Before I open my mouth, let's be aware here, right? And I try to model that behavior so other people feel more comfortable doing it. And yet I still get a bunch of comments that go, no, you're wrong. No elaboration. And to me, that's an emotional reaction. Something hit a button and I can't take it anywhere else because I don't know what it was. And I don't know what the button was. And I don't know what the feeling was there. And you, trust me, as a recovering asshole, you seem like way less of an asshole when you actually go, that comment hurt, or that caught me off guard, or I'm feeling sad today, or I'm, emotionally raw. Because my attitude is, if I say something hurts and someone keeps doing it, then okay, they're the asshole, not me. And because I can be an asshole, it's a good litmus test of, am I being the asshole here? No, I told them that bothered me and they kept going. Okay, they're the asshole here. I could be a little asshole, but they're a giant gaping maw of sphincter here. All right. Good test. And I also believe that if I say that hurts and someone mocks it, well, all of a sudden their opinion doesn't matter to me because I don't knowingly hurt anyone. I will dunk on people. I will have a go at people, especially on Twitch streams, because I think, if you're coming to fight with someone who's playing video games, I don't understand why anybody would do that seriously emotionally invested. But some people do. And there's a difference between just irritating someone because I won't be a nice girl and actually hurting someone. And I don't want to hurt anyone. a lot of the non-sociopathic stand-up comics you will meet done stand-up, we're okay with offending. We don't want to hurt anyone. And if someone explains to us that a joke is hurtful instead of just being offensive, we will likely refine the joke. But just offended? No. Because that's just a shut up. That's just a serving of shut up juice, right? Like, it's not... Nobody has the right to go through life never being offended. Something's wrong in your environment. Some things offend us. And then it's a question of, especially in media, especially in art, and then it's a question of, okay, why? And I go out of my way to distinguish between whether I think something just made me feel bad and whether I think something is actually rooted in something that's a problem. You know, I know I've been talking about Alan Wake 2 a lot this week, but, you know, the moment where someone racisms and sexisms saga in the game, I actually was like, oh, thank God, because before this, it was, okay, this is a little too idyllic for a small town full of those kind of white dudes. And there's a, you know, mixed race lady from the city in here. This is, and then when they finally do it, it's like, oh, right. They were doing the small town welcome. They were being polite. And, you know, now we're getting to it. All right. I actually feel better because that's realistic. And that's good art when they do that. When they do something that is knowingly offensive to ground the viewer, player, or reader in the reality of the story. I wasn't kicked out of the world by an unbelievable small town in the US. And that's an example of the little bit of offensive content actually made it more enjoyable for me. And that's what we're kind of missing now. And I think that's why nobody feels like they know how anybody really thinks of them now. And one of the things I'm repeating a lot lately is that you can never feel accepted unless there's the potential for rejection. Because then you're just being forced on people. And that never feels good. So, to me, expressing my feelings, yes, it gives the other person an opportunity to reject me. But it gives me the opportunity to really feel accepted because of that. And the test to see if this is a person I really can open up to, that's worth the bit of rejection. The reward outweighs the risk. That takes a certain centering in self to do, but you can practice it by people who, you know, are your friends, who do care about you, who might say some things inadvertently that bother you. And those are the ones to go, you know, I really don't like that. Not, it's wrong. Not, you should know better. Avoid the word should like a plague. Oh, God. I really don't like that name. Or I really don't like that comment about me. And if someone goes, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know. That's awesome. Right? If they start going, oh, you're too sensitive. Okay, better you know sooner rather than later. Because that person's just creating a blackmail file on you. I shed about 600 unwanted pounds, meaning multiple people, recently just by saying I didn't like how someone was being treated. Not that it was morally wrong, Not that it was any particular thing. I just didn't like it. I found it off-putting, and I wanted to step back until it was resolved. And these people did not take it well, and they are cut off from me. And now I'm finding a whole bunch of stuff that it's like, oh, thank God. Yikes. Now I wish I'd done it sooner. I actually had done it once before, but okay, they respected it that time. At least one of them did. But that's the important thing about boundaries. That's the important thing about expressing your feelings, being honest when something is making you uncomfortable. Now, you don't get to completely control other people because something makes you uncomfortable. Everybody has to be a little uncomfortable to so everybody can feel mostly comfortable. I mean, the example for me is I tell people I don't like the word bitch. I don't say nobody can use it around me. People use it around me all the time. And a lot of people go, I'm sorry, I know you don't like that word. And I'm like, no problem. The little bit of consideration, they're aware, they're not using it in the way that I don't like it. But, they're angry or they're upset and they slip, and that's fine. And that's an example of how they know I don't like it, or they'll say, I'm sorry, that bit, like they'll preamble it. And, it's like, okay, that's cool. Like, they're showing that bit of consideration. They're on a roll. I'm good with it. I don't want the word banned from the English language. Not liking something doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. I don't like most of the movies that were nominated for Oscars this time. That's fine. Important people clearly liked them. Good for them, right? We can all exist. And that's the thing. When someone shits on my feelings, it's like, all right, I trust them less now. But because I am pretty guarded and an asshole, and I know that I am world weary, and like I said on Monday, skin super thick, very little gets through, I have to give those opportunities for people to give a shit, because otherwise, I know I come off as not needing anybody and not especially caring. And for the most part, that's true. I don't need 98% of the planet. I'm good with a few close friends and, business colleagues I respect. I don't have to like them. I just have to respect that they're good at their job. They respect me. I respect them. That's all I need. We don't have to be besties. And I do think that respect, it's a topic for another time, but it is something that's really been lost in all this. I'm uncomfortable. My anxiety, anxiety is something everybody feels. An anxiety condition is something different. No one goes through life having zero anxiety, and feeling anxiety does not mean things are unsafe. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. And the reason it's important to know exactly what you're feeling is, am I feeling anxious right now because I feel guilty? Or am I feeling anxious because something is creeping me the fuck out here? And if you can't tell the difference, if you're not in touch with those, deeper emotions, those more core emotions, it's like wandering around in Alan Wake 2 with the shadows and ignoring all of the potential threats, because a lot of them aren't real, and then one grabs you by the throat, boom, right? Great metaphor for trauma. You can only weed out those shadows if you give people the opportunity to hurt you a little in a controlled way. Because that's the only way you find out who really gives a damn, you know? And it's it's a skill that can be taught. I don't know. Is there any interest in a workshop about how to express your feelings? I don't know. I don't know how to go forward other than one-on-one here. It would be something I'd be willing to do if there was interest in practicing this. We can figure that out later, but basically a feeling is a feeling. I feel the next words out of your mouth better be a feeling or it doesn't count. I feel that you did this isn't a feeling. And I feel that, I feel that that is disrespectful. A person can translate to you feel disrespected. Okay. But it isn't inherently disrespectful just because you say so. A person may have had no intent to disrespect, for instance. I feel that's racist. That's something you have to be able to explain why. That's an accusation. That's not a feeling. That comment made me uncomfortable. All right, we can deal with that. See the difference? And uncomfortable is one of those ones use sparingly because it is a valid state, but uncomfortable in its purest form is like I'm not scared, but I'm getting there. As opposed to, okay, that pissed me off or that upset me, like that I feel sad now. I feel hurt. And there's a difference between offended and hurt. And this is one of those things that you can only control you. You can't expect other people to do this. And at first it does feel very vulnerable. But then the more you do it, the nice thing about it, the payoff, is that you don't spend the time post-fight kicking yourself because of all the fuck-ups you made. It is not a mistake to say, please stop, that hurts me. Be prepared to talk about it, but they should stop. And then you can talk about it. Because you want to keep things from escalating in a conflict. If someone says, hey, this bothers me, act like you give a shit. And don't go, I'm sorry you're upset, but. No, I'm sorry, upset. Let's take a minute, figure out what's going on here. How do we proceed? And if somebody makes a reasonable request, for God's sakes, do it. It's not trading. It's not you give me this, I'll give you that. You're responsible for you. They're responsible for them. And a lot of people wait for the other person to take the first emotional risk. And that just makes you an asshole. The bravest thing you can do is be the bigger person. And if you find yourself repeatedly being the bigger person, then maybe that friend's not really a friend. Hard thing to realize, but better to get out in front of it and before the person just completely fucks you over. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/Leanna K. Or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who use it but can't afford it. Coffee.com/Leanna K. Or sign up for a Leanna Care session if you want personalized attention working through some of this stuff. Link is in the description box below. Thanks for watching and be well.